Money is an addiction. It's
Do
a
you
drug, just like the drugs that I'm trying to stay off of now.
do you think
So it's
money
like
is an
it's
addiction?
still addiction. That's where I'm at.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think
So I'm
money?
trying to stay sober. We talked about this,
Yeah.
maybe not in the videos, but before we
Yeah,
even did
yeah.
a video about that's what kind of the mission was that I was on, was trying to stay sober
And that was your main mission, is staying
before
sober.
I even met you.
And that's a good mission.
And then when you blew up the thought processes, even going back to the Matrix, of just how things operate,
Mm-hmm.
you can get lost in this own inner world where you can feel like basically everybody's against you and trying to force you to do everything against whatever your purpose or goal is.
And that's a guilt, I think, about
Sure.
speaking on this stuff, is because when, this is why they don't, you'd rather, I guess,
It's hard
like
topics.
people would just rather not talk about
Yeah,
it.
it's
But
hard
that's why I
topics.
said awareness is a
to
burden.
the point that I literally was on the phone before you came here and met me in the parking lot to do this video,
Mm-hmm.
crying out for help.
Yeah.
And I literally was directed to the suicide hotline.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I don't really want to commit suicide, but at the same time, I'm not really excited to live either. So I was able to fall into the narrative of the suicide thing because I wanted shelter. I've got this job. I can't even get my money from my job. I've already worked 2 days. If I had the money right now, I could at least get one night and a night's sleep, and then maybe I'd go to the job tomorrow.
Yeah.
But the whole point goes all the way back to 6 months ago, where I've been trying to seek shelter, when I decided, okay, I got to have shelter.
Do you feel different now than you did a few months back?
Wow, I feel more tired.
You feel more tired?
Mentally, I think, than
Yeah.
physically, actually. Yeah. And I don't know which is worse, but mentally draining is tough.
And I guess it'd be safe for me to say you feel more mentally tired because of the new stuff you became aware of, or?
No,
Okay.
because of being aware of the fact that I've fallen off track repetitively, doing things off track, that I'm tired from that and not sticking to the same goal. And I think it's caused me to be mentally tired. Whereas when I was doing the goal, I was physically tired. I was telling you to the point that I was in Tallahassee literally bleeding because I had walked 500 miles from Nashville trying to stay sober.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still not sober.
Yeah.
So you've made me aware that I'm way off of my mission.
Mm-hmm.
It had nothing to do with you, because you weren't part of the mission. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
when I met you and we
yeah.
started talking and you started telling me these things,
Yeah.
it took me, how many days has it been now? 5 days for me to actually see it. There's no way I would have saw it if we talked for 10 minutes,
And
20
that's what
minutes.
I'm saying. You
maybe a day even. I would have never saw it. But when we hung around together for 3 days and did different things, and I don't know, the switching of the environment, perspective on what your inner core, I don't know the word.
No,
I'm
you
looking
good.
for. Principalities or something, like your moral code or something, sets you up for in controlling your environment. And that's why I was telling you indirectly.
Yeah.
I felt like I'd had these walls come up, my inside controlling my environment from my outside. I don't know how to explain that.
No, you're good. I know we're having a genuine chat here. I guess, this may get uploaded on this platform here. If so, if you guys, anyone who's watching right now and you're listening, and if you find it intriguing and like it, you can go ahead and like. You can also share this content and just kind of support Larry and this whole situation that he's going on. I met the gentleman 5 days ago. We met through finding work. And this situation we're going through right now is definitely new to both of us, especially with the two different perspectives we're coming from. So any support would be great, especially when it comes into stuff with just mental health and understanding where people come from and why they come from that way. So we appreciate that for sure. But going back to what you said, man, that it almost kind of makes me believe that some things that I even do when it comes to just choosing to speak on whatever you speak and choosing to have that choice to upload it and share it. Sometimes I do get that guilty feeling, and I get it a little more now when you tell me that, and it's not because of you and because of, you know, the way you perceived what you heard or something like that. It's more so like, well, dang, is being aware of whatever you're hearing gonna suit you positively, or is it gonna put you more back into a more negative kind of thoughts and feelings, you know? And that's something you don't want, you know? But I mean, awareness is helpful if you know what to do with it.
Well, the lady on the hotline, she literally told me, you know, you're in the right directions, you're taking the right steps. You know, I got application in Sewanee for shelter, did the legwork with the labor finders to get the job.
Yeah.
You know, and no, I haven't got the shelter yet. She didn't tell me to be patient, but that's the simple answer, just be patient, you know. But the bottom line is, she's like, those are all steps in a positive direction. And I'm like, wow, you're the third person today to tell me that.
Yeah.
From the different hotlines, but yet for some reason my brain's not receiving it.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it as a negative thought, even when it's being perceived from someone else as a positive thing. And so I'm like stuck with this conundrum.
It's difficult.
Because even walking, I was not sober.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a conundrum here because both sides of it, I'm not finding the sobriety, and that's the point. And when you turn it in, basically you made it more black and white for me. You know, I'm either sober or I'm not sober.
Yeah.
The next move I'm going to make, is it going to be a better chance of being sober, or is it going to be a better chance of not being sober?
Exactly.
And
It's
that's
up to
where
you.
I'm at now.
It's up to you. Yeah.
And going to work is going to be a better chance of me not being sober.
But
because I
so
buy
let's
drugs
say,
with the money that I make. I haven't even made money, and I already buy drugs on borrowed money.
Damn. Okay.
See
So
what I'm
I see
saying,
the route
dude?
you're going. So
And I'm smoking. Okay, I'm doing something that's not as hard as the drug I was doing before. But that goes back to
you
the
gotta,
AA and the alcohol and the caffeine. It's still a drug.
Yeah.
It's not better or worse, but either way,
you gotta.
I'm not sober.
But you gotta pat yourself on
Period.
the back, because like you said before,
I'm failing.
You're not
sober is the goal.
But you're not doing what you did before, though, which is what that particular thing is what led you to where you are right now. Whatever it is you're doing right now is not leading you down that thought pattern as it was before, though, even despite them being two different drugs, however way you want to perceive that. Because like I said, I can't.
I'm not sure I understand what you're saying, actually.
Yeah.
I'm listening, but I don't think I heard it.
So I can't relate to you with that hard drug you're talking about, right? Because I don't do that stuff.
Sure.
But so now you're saying, okay, you're still not sober, despite the fact that you're not doing that other drug. So whatever it is that you're doing right now, despite the fact that you're using that word sober, whatever it is you're doing right now still isn't leading you down that thoughts and feelings that you had when you were doing the hard drug that you're doing right now, despite the fact that you may not be sober. Because sobriety obviously is your main goal.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man.
So it's almost like it's like if you can have the ability to just be sober in general and not care about whatever it is you're doing that's not making you sober, that's when you see your life change, actually. So it's really hard. It's a battle against yourself.
Yes.
It's a battle against yourself.
Right.
And there's a reason why you can see other people who do drugs and they can still be in an ability to where they're living fine and stuff like that.
Well, doing what I'm doing now, what makes me want to do drugs? That's my point.
Doing what you're doing right now.
Right, going to labor finders, going to the job, you know, doing the system,
Okay,
the matrix,
so
the whole deal. That makes me want to do drugs. Like,
so you think that
you see what I'm saying?
You
like,
think that
so I know I'm not going to get sober doing this. I'm going to make myself worse.
Okay. Ooh, so
I'll get to that hard drug.
Yeah.
It will take a couple of weeks, but I will get to that hard drug because I'll meet the person that has it, and I'll have the money to buy it. I'm an addict.
So let's clear. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I know that about me, so there's no reason to go to this job. Because
Damn.
the mission is sober.
Damn.
Now, if it was a job where I was all by myself, I didn't have to make the choice on, you know, and it looks like I'm pushing the blame, but I'm really not. It's about me knowing that I can't do it.
No, you
drugs.
good, man. That's what communication's all about. See, I just don't see the perspective like that.
Right.
I don't see it like that, but I see where you're coming from, though.
Right.
Completely.
So I don't really know what to do right now. I was surprised that we're even able to have this conversation.
Why are you surprised, though?
Wow, I guess because it's just a different level of thinking that I'm not used to being able to communicate with other people.
Does it hurt your head having these type of conversations?
Sometimes later.
Yeah.
Like I've been, And even I haven't been sleeping much before we met, but I have slept less.
To the viewer and
since
to the
then.
audience right now, do you think like a type of conversation like this would make their head hurt, or do you think it would help them, or do you think it could more so harm someone
Right.
having a conversation like this?
Right.
And that's where
Yeah.
I think you're just being real, like
But
you
that goes
said.
back to the awareness is a burden. Your headache, your lost job, those are burdens that you would carry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's out there, dude, I guess. And it's just different. I'm being mentally challenged right now. And when I get challenged, I think I somehow turn this switch internally to black and white.
Yeah.
And it's all about sober or not sober. It's not about any other thing that's outside of that.
I think
based on life experiences.
I think that's one thing
that's
with
tough,
awareness.
dude.
With
it's hard to look at black and white.
I think the positive part about awareness is like you got to use it to move yourself forward. True. And whatever it is you're aware of, you got to put it to the back burner.
Right.
And that's what helps the most. But then again, just when you know.
Right. And so I don't like what I think the awareness has told me to do. So I'm having to face whether I'm going to fight knowing the right thing to do and not doing it, or just go along with the thing that I know is not going to work just for the sake of shelter.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it boils down to.
Because we can clarify that you believe it was easier for you to stay sober not working this specific job you're speaking on.
Okay, I'm glad you brought this up, because it's not necessarily easier. It's just more of a physical pain as a mental pain.
When it comes to the job.
Because when I'm just walking, I'm just going through, the motions in my head of, the walking, and trying to do everything I can do to avoid drugs, not put myself in situations where drugs will be there.
Yeah.
But it's hard on my feet, and I have to walk a lot, and I have to just keep moving pretty much.
You're right.
But I have more lengths of sobriety when I do these walks than I do when I get back into the job force.
Okay.
Because I don't know if it's the addict part in me or what causes me to do that. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. I don't like that those are the two choices I'm faced with right now.
Yeah, I know. It's because this is really real stuff. I wish, if even, I'm not talking about us, if someone were to put up content like this, just in terms of trying to get some feedback back, it's tough, man. I think it'd be tough for an audience viewer to listen to this and kind of have some feedback on it, which is what obviously, that's the goal of when you choose to share stuff like this, is you seeking help.
Yeah. Because the easy answer really is
comments
get
can
a
help.
Job, get a place to stay. And I thought about this walking over here.
It's like
okay,
you said,
look. I thought about this walking over here. If the mission was to get shelter, to not be the original mission was to get shelter so that I could stay sober.
Mm-hmm.
But if trying to get the shelter is causing me not to stay sober, and I was staying sober without the shelter, then the obvious answer is this, but I don't necessarily like it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm stumped.
It is
I'm stumped because I'm faced
stumped.
with two options, and I don't like either one of them. But the awareness tells me which one's right and which one's not. For me, not for everybody else's life.
Yeah.
The easy answer, like I said, is just get a job, go to work, be patient enough to get the thing, and then hope by that time you're not already an addict. In my case, by the time I get to shelter, that I'm not already hooked.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And then now I got the freedom to be hooked. Shit.
So it's
dude, now I can just sit back in my lazy chair and spark up the bowl. As long as I make it to work, I'm good, dude.
Yeah.
And I keep getting a check, and I keep paying the bills, and I'm still an addict.
So you're looking at that as like that's not what you want.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's not me.
Yeah.
That's not what I want to do.
Yeah. Where we can compare that to people. Let's say there's people who do that, right?
Right.
Do you think they do that because they're cool with doing that, or do you think they do that because they're not aware or even care about the fact that they may be an addict?
Well, I think this is where conscience plays a role.
Okay.
That's
a good answer, man.
You either like what you do or you don't.
And you don't.
Whatever it is, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because anybody can judge a situation and say it's wrong, but to your master, you stand or fall.
Yeah.
Period.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well,
I think that pretty much exclamation
Yeah,
points
you know what I
it, bro,
mean.
for
I think
real,
we didn't reach the 20-minute
we didn't.
mark.
How much farther we got to go?
But if we want to try to reach the last 20-minute mark, I'm gonna go ahead and say any support would help.
Sure.
Especially if you're
even suggestions
if
on
you're
what
an
people
audience
should do in a situation.
If you're an audience viewer who did happen to come across this video, you know, any obviously, yeah, if you liked it, but you know, more so just a comment or just any support, and you could even share the vid and just kind of see what perspective you have about this, man. Because
I don't even know myself, really. I'm just trying to work it out.
Awareness, would you say that's kind of like a mental health category, kind of?
For sure.
You know,
psychology,
it is,
philosophy, theology. It probably falls into all them categories, actually.
Yeah,
it's all about the mind. You know, you work with your hands or you work with your mind, and I think I'm a mind worker.
And we're all out here trying to better each other in many different ways, and I think communication is a way to do that. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think it hurts at all, even being aware of stuff, and that could, you know, just the way you came across in the first start of the video, you know, and how I talked about how it could make you feel guilty, you know. But communicate, but at the same time, speaking on this stuff, it can help too.
But we are really here for a more positive impact, whether it be helping somebody who's hungry or anything like that. You know, so that's a good point to say positive.
We appreciate you guys for viewing, and I have some more vids up soon.